Hello, everyone, and welcome to ArcaKnights, a Power Rangers actual play series here on the Initiative Order. Joining me here tonight is my full crew of 6 Rangers. So we're going to jump right into it, have everybody tell you who they are, what Ranger they're playing, so we can jump right into tonight's action. And we will start with our wonderful bonus Ranger, Hama.
That's me. Hello, I am Hama Samakun. I will be playing your Arbiter of the Morphing Grid and God of all gods, Schrodinger, who has definitely been doing things that I remember because I was definitely here for that. I just want everybody to know that while I, quote unquote, was causing problems, our dear friend Alec here was messaging me angrily. I don't know what you expect from me. I wasn't there, or maybe I was. Who
I
knows?
still, I still blame you. I still blame
You
you.
know what? Given
Speaking
our
of
track
Alec,
record, fair.
It's true.
go for it,
Hello,
Alec.
hello everyone. I am Alec the Bard, and I play Peter, the Red Ranger, and I am mad at Hamasamakun, but that's okay. I love him anyways.
I love you too, buddy.
I'm gonna fucking
Brandon.
kill you.
Hello, everyone. It is I, Brandon O'Brien, poet, writer, and game designer from Trinidad and Tobago. Pronouns he, him, or they, them. And tonight I'm playing Marcia Ambrose, the Pink ArcaKnight Ranger.
Javante.
Howdy, y'all. I'm Javante, your resident TTRPG goblin, and I'm playing Dior, the Black ArcaKnight Ranger.
Krimsin.
Hey y'all, I'm Krimsin Galaxy. That's Krimsin, because I'm not me without a little bit of sin. My pronouns are they, them, she, and they. And today I'm playing Gina, the Yellow Ranger.
Our wonderful tech person of power, Pluto.
I'm Pluto, pronouns she, they. I am playing Frankie, just a little guy. Not much of a ranger at the moment.
And
You're the true hero of the story, Frankie, my boy. I love you.
And I am your gridmaster, Arc-Light Court. So let's go ahead and jump into our intro and get into the festivities of tonight. And as we dive into tonight's episode of ArcaKnights, Schrodinger, you had just had your small conversation with Peter within the Arcanium Plexus before stepping back into the Morphing Grid. Looking at the different variations of this specific Ranger universe, you can see where things go wrong in other variations of this, where a few of them can lead to the positive outcome of the Rangers defeating the Dread Hollows, but far too much collateral damage taking place. And then the one version of this universe in which the ArcaKnights succeed in a way that truly demonstrates the power of the Morphing Grid and themselves, not only as Rangers, but individuals. The most concurrent point between all of them, the one that you made your own mission to interact and stop, was the development of the Necroknights. and the gold Chimera Arcanite Ranger, then taking the Necronite Morphers and attacking the people that were held closest and dear by the ArcaKnights, and then forcing them into this servitude of the Dread Hollows. And instead taking it upon yourself to simply place the bracelets there, allow the curse to begin, but the lesson to be learned. Absolute destruction isn't the only course of action and shouldn't be the only course of action that the Rangers take. And it's while witnessing all of these concurrent universes that you see a shatter point between all of them, fixed in the universe that you are currently trying to help navigate, of Frankie being stabbed through the back by the Centaur Dread Hollow Hesius and left to die within the home of Professor William Cranston. And it's at this moment that you realize that that exact action is taking place within the universe. What would you like to do?
Hesius, was it?
Yes.
Are they still there? Or did they just like dip?
They took their lance, pierced it through Frankie, and drained away all of the green Arcanite energy from them. And told Frankie, you will no longer command my brother. Find a new power to call your own. And then when he drew the lance out of Frankie, teleported away.
Papa's about to make some glue. I think for the first time there is like a brief break in the persona that is Schrodinger. Like their hand is shaking just a little bit watching the one person in this group he kind of cares about. And he's gonna bamf in, just gonna try to save his friend real quick.
So it's as you force the morphing grid to put you at this catalyst, this shatter point, that you appear within the home of Professor William Cranston, literally standing at the feet of Frankie, unconscious on the floor.
God, what a dump. Do I have any like healing things, or am I gonna have to like go to a hospital, or does my cat know CPR?
You could take him back to the power chamber where they have the homeostasis tubes that are there that they're currently using to try and fix and repair Bone, the first person that the bracelet was placed on, and take him there to try and heal the wounds and repair it and fix everything.
I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna see if like Frankie is still there, if he's just like straight up dead. It's like,
Okay.
hey, wakey, you have like stuff to do. Come on, you're like the only one who like can pull off green in this group. Just like wake up.
So you could give me alertness, or you could use Morphing Grid tech, because you are
I'm gonna do that.
interacting with all of that.
That sounds so much cooler. I'm gonna use Morphing Grid tech. Is it D4, D6? All right. Also, it should be said, I bought this little cat dice container, and I think it matches very well.
Oh, yeah.
Alrighty, that is a 14?
14 total.
Yeah.
With using the Morphing Grid tech, the Morphing Grid, similar to like the Force in Star Wars and other forms of pop culture and media, it's like a living energy that all things can interact with or be interacted with by. But for people who aren't connected to the Morphing Grid, it's much harder to like probe into that and get more information from it. But from at least what you understand, from trying to use the morphing grid on someone who is just recently a ranger. You are able to see and note that if you don't get Frankie to one of those pods soon, he is going to die.
All right, buddy, we're going to go on a field trip. I really hope that the teleportation doesn't rip you in half. But good news is, and I'm just gonna go.
Alrighty. And as this is happening, my other 4 rangers, you had made the decision after Dior pointed out that the green Necronite energy signature was in Peter's home. And you were all teleporting there. Is that still the case at this point in time?
Yeah, Peter left before agreeing with anybody. Like, he was at his house. He went to his house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Peter's the first one to teleport back home. The other 3 of you then following suit shortly after. Peter, when you teleport inside your home, teleporting immediately within, not even trying to dramatic entrance through the front door, anything, just immediately within. Give me an alertness. Give me an alertness roll.
Alertness. Okay. Okay. That is a total of a 14.
14. Okay. You teleporting it like right in the middle of the living room itself. You can see that the couches have been flipped completely over, the coffee table slammed into a wall, and it's like at a 35-degree angle inside the wall. The refrigerator in the kitchen has been thrown down face first. All of the cabinets have been ripped open. There's just a slew of destruction throughout the inside of the house. All of that, as troubling as it is not what catches your attention and holds it. As you see 3 or 4 black SUVs are like careening down the road
Towards us?
towards the house.
So Peter lands, he sees this. I call out for my dad. Do I get an answer?
As you're yelling out for your dad, you hear nothing but your own echoes through the house.
So I think Ignis will probably feel like a little bit of that familiar kind of rage that he had back in the power chamber, or back in the Arcanium plexus, as Peter just strides into the middle of the street.
Just right out the front door.
Front door right into the middle of the street, and puts himself in between the cars. Basically, like, I'm gonna stand in front of the cars, and Caliburn. Caliburn will be in my hands.
Okay.
As these fuckers came into my house, they hurt my dad, they fucked up my house. I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to be a good guy.
D20 plus a D4. And what is your willpower score?
My willpower score is 14.
14? Okay. The DC is 14.
Okay. Oh, I rolled a total of a 19.
Okay. So you are able to... You aren't turning towards those... like that malicious thought process of everything. This is more so you've attacked all that I have left.
Right.
And now I'm going to protect it. This is more of a chivalrous, knightly, like, I'm standing my ground now, than a berserker, I am ending everything and everyone.
Right.
And it's as Peter is moving towards the center of the road that Dior, Gina, and Marcia all teleport and land inside of the house. You guys see all of the same destruction within, and you see Peter walking out towards the center of the road, not morphed whatsoever, but with Caliburn in hand.
You are right.
They did something to my dad. And he points, I basically point Caliburn down the road at the vehicle speeding towards him.
Yeah, they're still coming too.
I rush outside and I immediately draw my Feywind bow.
Okay. As Marcia draws the Feywind bow unmorphed, Gina, Dior, what are you guys doing?
We are in the middle of a suburb.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are in the middle of a suburb.
Do you yell that at me?
I'm yelling that. It just pulls.
They hurt my dad, Dior.
Just undo the weapons for now.
There's cars speeding at me. I am not gonna undo the weapons. There's
I
a
know.
car, there's 3 SUVs careening towards me.
I know.
Dior,
I
give
can
me
figure,
a
I can figure
morphing
that
grid
part out.
roll.
A morphing grid roll?
Yeah.
Heck yes.
Gina, what
I
are you
love
doing?
these.
I think I want to look for any signs that of whether or not Peter's dad was actually injured. I'm gonna actually go into the house and like look for any signs of like injury, like
Okay,
any
give
blood
me,
anywhere, anything like that.
Give me an investigation or a medicine roll. Medicine would be a specialization of science.
I'll take the one that's the for alertness.
Okay.
That's
What did you
a
get on your roll?
18.
18. You can activate the grid protection net over the neighborhood right now, which would block out all of the windows, prevent anybody from seeing out of their homes, kind of thing, and then also protect all of the homes and vehicles and stuff out here from any damages if you want to.
I want
Gina
to.
and Marcia and Peter seem already in place, but you could
Marcia and
activate
Peter
that.
ready. Beat
Yeah,
some
no,
ass.
I want to. I want to, just out of precautionary.
Okay, so as you activate the morphing grid protection net, you could see all of the windows like silver over and are blocking out like visibility from looking out of them. Waves of energy going over houses and homes and protecting all of these things in the area. Gina, what did you get on your roll?
Natural 20 and a 3 on the D4.
Okay, with the natural 20, it does not appear from everything that is within the house that Peter's father was injured. Everything looks to have been carried out by a singular person inside of the home, and they're looking for something. They're trying to find something that only that person knew was in the home, but it wasn't there when they were looking for it.
Okay.
You're almost certain it's the key that Peter has hanging around his neck that he found the chalice of ink within the Arcanium plexus with. That's what they were looking for.
Mm-hmm. I think in that case, she is going to run back outside and try to get Peter's attention. Peter, get out of the road. We have... No one was hurt in here. It looks like someone was searching for something in the house that they knew was in there. So that I'm guessing that it would have had to have been your dad or someone who knows your family. And I think it might be that key around your neck that you always have.
Then where's my dad, Gina? How close are these cars, by the way? How
They're-
close?
As Gina calls that out, they come like screeching and like the first one almost hits you but goes sideways.
Can I do something when it comes past me?
What are you doing?
I don't remember what movie it was, but I'm going to take Caliburn and slash the tires as it passes me to send the car careening.
Give me a power weapon attack roll.
Yeah. Where's my dad?
While this is happening, I want to do a spell casting roll as well.
What would you like to What spell are you looking to cast?
I want to do like this weird kind of facial masking thing where all of our faces still look like human faces, but if you
It's
try
like-
to focus on any one of us, our faces will just keep seeming
that's cool.
too vague to place.
That's cool.
Got it. Okay. Give me that spellcasting roll. What'd you get, Peter?
23.
23? Yeah. Vehicle toughnesses are normally between 12 and 13. So you absolutely cut through this tire as it goes sideways, and you see that car start to roll afterwards. Just the pressure from the tire being built up from going sideways and then cutting through it, that burst sends it rolling. The Morphing Grid protection net keeps it from damaging the whole vehicle. Like it's rolling in place like you would see in like video games when the vehicle model doesn't destroy itself. That's
Right.
essentially what's happening there. Marcia, what did you get on your spellcasting?
I got a 3.
You got a
Oh,
3.
yep.
The
Now our faces are just mush.
initial attempt to get the spell going was interrupted by the car going sideways.
Okay.
Like you weren't anticipating that happening in that moment, so you immediately lost concentration on it. As the cars come to a stop and the other one stops rolling, from the second car you
shit.
see Professor
shit.
Yamaya
Yeah. Oh,
step out.
I was right.
I draw on her immediately.
The other doors open on all of the other vehicles, and you see Peter would be the only one to have interacted with them. 8 versions of the same 2 agents that were at your house when they questioned you about your leg brace. All identical to one another as they all climb out of the cars. Professor Yamaya walks forward towards Peter, very calm, like there isn't a sense of fear to her steps whatsoever, almost ignoring Marcia as well.
Where's my dad?
That's what I came here to find out myself, Mr. Hertz.
What do you mean?
And she turns and starts walking towards your house.
I think I'm gonna step in the way. Where's
Okay.
my dad?
That's what we want to find out. You see your phantom friend that you've had alongside you felt it necessary to come and steal very important items of ours and use them for their own cause, ideas, plans, whatever it may be. We simply want them back, or we want him. And if the only way to find him or get those things back is to track down what was stolen, then that is what we are going to do.
Are you saying my dad has something that was stolen from you?
Yes. Necronite morphers.
That's mighty hypocritical, you don't think?
You mean
We
you just didn't have-
stand on separate sides of a line. A very broad line. Some deception on both sides, but neither of us have ever lied to each other. Neither of us have ever stolen truly from one another. There's always been a sense of honor to our combat.
I wouldn't expect you to know the first thing about honor.
And as much as I hate that guy, and we're gonna have words about him turning my dad into an evil ranger later, he's still a ranger. And
Be
so
it
if you
as it
take
may
another
be.
step foot towards my house, we're gonna have a problem.
Well, here is an offer. We'll call it 2. A ceasefire between the ArcaKnights and the Dread Hollows until the Necronites are dealt with. Or turn over the Phantom, and we will give you your friend Nikos in exchange.
I'm gonna look to the crew. I'm gonna look to Marcia and Gina and Dior.
If we
How
could
can
ever
we-
trust someone like you to actually care about a truce, you wouldn't introduce us to our enemies at school.
That was not my decision to make.
You follow codes.
We all
Things
do.
like you specifically, you follow specific rules and tenets. So if we make a deal, you have no choice but to abide by it.
Correct.
How do we know they're telling the truth?
They don't have an option.
I don't think we have an option.
Gina, give me a spell casting roll. Marcia,
Mhm.
give me a culture roll. Peter, give me a streetwise roll. And Dior, give me a morphing grid roll.
Would my psychology specialization matter here?
Yes, you can use that as well.
Cool.
17 for Streetwise.
17 for streetwise. You, similar to the conversation you had with Schrodinger a multitude of times. You know when somebody's lying to you. You know when somebody's being honest with you. You know when somebody's omitting something. You know when they're being 100% transparent. Dior pointing out that they have to abide by certain rules reminds you Gina took a book from the class, so something was taken from Gina. You and Frankie took the desk and something was taken from you. Marcia had brought up before how the Fae deal in these deals. I give, you give, I take, you give kind of thought process. Everything that's being stated right now is being presented as one of those deals without any strings attached. These are absolutes. Marcia, what did you get?
17.
17. This is again identical to the understandings that you have of the Fae court and of the Fae, but this is also much more exact. There aren't any underlined or subtext to this agreement or trade in place. These are absolutes. There is either a ceasefire until the Necronites are dealt with, or give us the Phantom and we will give you Nico. Plain and simple. Nothing extra, nothing added, nothing under the table. Right there. Gina, what did you get?
A 14 with the crit.
14 with a crit. You're reading through the book from the class and from the conversations that Marcia has had and all of you have had about who the Dread Hollows are, how they're connected to the ArcaKnights, all of that. Yamaya being the other queen of one of the Sealy courts within the Fae world, she has to uphold whatever deals she offers. Regardless of how good or bad it is for her or the other person, once she has offered a deal and it's accepted, it has to be upheld. Dior, what did you get?
24 with a crit.
There is a massive imbalance to the morphing grid with the Necronites existing. The Dread Hollows cannot access the dark portion of the Morphing Grid for their capabilities, while this mass amount of dark Morphing Grid energy is roaming around. The Necroknights were supposed to be their final play. And now they're out of ammunition. And this is what all four of you come to understand in this moment. So what would you like to do?
You'll look back to Peter. This isn't an enemy of my enemy as my friend. This is an enemy of my enemy will piss off for a little bit while we take care of this.
Yeah. If a deal's offered, it has to be upheld. Also, I think you might be out of cards in your hand.
You say that to Yamaya?
Yeah.
As we speak, one of your friends is bleeding out on the floor.
What did you do?
A gold ArcaKnight is returning to the library that they were once a part of in order to find ways to deal with this problem if a deal cannot be met.
So you come to us with a deal in good faith. You nearly kill one of our friends and you invade our home.
The invasion hasn't happened and your friend isn't dead yet.
Where is he?
At his home.
Okay.
Or at Billy's. That's why I couldn't reach him.
So remind me exactly what Yamaya's terms are.
Yamaya's terms for the first deal is a ceasefire between the Dread Hollows and the ArcaKnights, and both sides will work towards destroying the Necroknights. The second deal is to turn over Schrodinger to the Dread Hollows, and in return, they will give you Nico.
I don't like either of these deals, though. I would rather have the partnership of this first deal be more one-sided. You don't do anything in searching for these new Dread Hollows. We take care of that work. And then afterwards, we can resume our fight. I don't think that we need your help with this problem.
Is that the agreement of all who are present?
At the very least, we don't want you present.
You also don't utilize a hammer if the only thing you need to use is a scalpel.
We don't.
Peter, you're the leader. You're the one that makes the decision. But if I would say anything, this is a good option.
I also turn to Peter and I go, if we had to pick any one of them to assist us, there is only one option that comes to mind, but we are perfectly fine to clean up this mess on our own.
And we have no guarantee that they won't hurt whoever else has these bands on, one of them being my father.
Exactly.
Ceasefire. We take care of it. You sit on your ass and you do nothing.
Are those the terms?
And if
I don't follow through, my sister will be more than happy to provide you with the energy necessary to remove me.
I take out my phone and look towards Tamrick.
Blazing with magical energy at this moment. Like your phone screen is almost hard to look at.
I'm going to take myself like slightly back from the group and see if I can't contact Frankie, which I very clearly can't, I'm going to contact the next best thing that I could know would help me get Frankie, to be Schrodinger.
Yeah.
I would I'm gonna turn to the group and I'm gonna say, Marcia, if you will stay with me to help broker this deal, Gina and Dior go find Frankie.
Hang
I'd
on,
like
Like
bleeding
nothing
out somewhere.
more.
As Peter and Marcia stay back to finalize this
Frankie's
agreement.
dying, and we don't want him to die while we're like, subsection A.
He's fine. I got it.
Meanwhile, Frankie somewhere with a sucking chest wound is like, oh my god.
Just taking a
Schrodinger.
nap, guys. I'm fine.
Yeah, y'all are fine. Frankie's fine.
You appear within the Arcanium plexus. Frankie in your arms. You see the stone monolithic entranceway into the arcane plexus start to turn and roll out of the way.
Is it supposed to do that?
That's how the ArcaKnights would access it from the outside to like open the door to come in if they didn't teleport in, kind of thing.
Was I not able to teleport in?
No, you were. You teleported within, but then you see this stone door starting
Someone else
to
is
open.
coming in.
I would like to take out my gun.
Are you dropping Frankie?
Not like hard, but all right, baby boy, you're gonna have to stand up for a little bit. I got things to do.
Sure, Frankie's significantly taller than Schrodinger too.
All right,
Yeah.
tall baby boy. All right, big boy. I'm gonna need you to like I need you to like do something here. Can I summon like a? I have like a familiar, right? Can they do anything?
Yeah, you have
Can they help?
Chopin.
Yeah, can Chopin help? Like even a little bit? Like just
What
carry
would you
Frankie?
like Chopin to do?
I would love for Chopin to bring Frankie to the pod and do like that for me while
Okay.
I deal with whatever the hell this is.
So roll Morphing Grid for me, because you're going to use the Morphing Grid to cause Chopin to become this larger, like
Oh,
panther-like cat to carry Frankie into the power chamber.
Is that Morphing Grid tech or is that a
Yes,
separate thing?
it'd be Morphing Grid tech.
Sick and dope. I love being good at things. Oh, I'm so good at things. Let's go, me. That is a 24.
All right. So as it starts rolling out of the way, just thinking of Chopin, you can feel him like snake between your feet. All right. Give me just a moment, pushy fuck. And it
Took
just
you long
begins-
enough.
This begins growing into this large, almost panther-like Maine Coon cat as you set Frankie onto the back of Chopin. This is going to be a bit hard to do without thumbs, but I'll figure it out, I guess.
I'm not responsible for
starts-
your corporeal form, all right? Take it up with like HR or something. Damn.
Bounding and pushing into the power chamber as you draw the looking glass out, pointing towards the door. You see the stone comes to a stop before you see Nikos standing. Just immediately open fire.
I don't know who the hell this guy is.
You do.
Oh, I
You
do know who this guy
This
is.
is the
This
gold
is the guy you shot
ArcaKnight
before.
Oh, I'm gonna
that you
shoot him
shot
again.
the first time. All right, give me that roll.
Let's see here. It's been a while. I'm sorry, fam. What
It's
is
again
it?
Morphing Grid tech.
Oh,
from your
sick.
level up.
I love being this cool.
It's from your
Um,
level up.
I love having a level. That is a 23.
23. He is going to spend a point of personal power and change the equation. So I need you to re-roll that again at disadvantage. So 2d20, take the lowest.
Can I use my own power to tell him to not?
You would gain an edge against that person. So after this, you'll have advantage on your next one.
Alrighty, so that's that. 18.
18 misses.
Damn it.
So as you immediately open fire, you see a gold staff form in his hand, and then he sets it between the two of you, and you see this like reverberation of Morphing Grid energy grab the energy blast from the looking glass and send it over his shoulder instead.
Well, that's not very fair at all.
Neither is firing on someone who just wanted a conversation.
Maybe don't enter via the scary moving stone door, or maybe send a text. I heard that Facebook Messenger is pretty cool. Is that still popular in 2000 whatever year it is?
Where are the other rangers?
Well, if you want to get technical, there are infinite amount of rangers over infinite timelines. My personal favorite are Time Force, because they make it significantly harder to do my job. But, or did you mean like the ones specifically tailored to kick your ass?
We'll say those ones.
Well, I think one of them is mad at me. The other ones are probably with that one who is mad at me, but, we can have a conversation, sit down, have a snack. I pull out some KFC that I grabbed earlier. It's a little cold, but still good.
He begins like walking around in between the bookshelves, looking towards you. Who deemed you necessary within this realm?
Well, ain't that a loaded question? Can I say morphing god?
So no one of this world deemed you necessary to be here, or important enough to be here. There's
Now you're just
no
being hurtful.
There's no context, information, knowledge, writings, glyphs, tablets, books, scrolls, monuments, graffiti, chicken scratch, or a child's babbling of you ever being here. So why deem it necessary to be here now?
Can I say I just really like Frankie? This is the universe where he's the coolest. Big fan. Plus, it's just really fun to pop in places. I mean, have you never shown up to a party unannounced?
Consistently. But at least those at the party know who I am.
Well, lucky you. I'm sorry I never got around to forming my TikTok. I tried to bring it up with the Morphing Grid, but they say that I have to keep a secret identity and I can't just go flaunting all my powers all the time or use it for personal gain or, cool sponsors. I still am emailing McDonald's daily, but they refuse to answer any of my calls.
You notice that he is checking all of the same places that you checked the first time you got here, looking for all of the hidden vaults and things of that nature within the Arcanium plexus.
So, sure you don't want some chicken? You seem to be looking for something over there. Maybe I gotta interest you in a snack? Maybe another bullet?
This used to be my workshop. This used to be my library, my sanctuary.
Well, it ain't anymore, fam. Take your shoes off at least before entering someone else's home.
You see him trying, like, very offhandedly and trying to keep it hidden from you. He is trying to open the vaulted doorway that has the chalice of ink, but he can't open it.
It's a push. I know it must be so difficult being illiterate, but I'm pretty sure it's a push.
Maybe I'd leave something for you to give the others.
You leave something to give the other. Okay. Like what?
You seem to only be a messenger. So what better than to continue you having the capability to carry out your own job.
Well, being a messenger, I could send you to hell, same day delivery if you'd like.
I've already seen that you're not as good as you think you are.
I know I'm better.
He takes a small notebook out from the pocket of his shirt. Small, like leather bound notebook. And it's tied off at the end with this like copper wire, a small red lace like bookmarker within it. And he just sets it on the table next to you. Give this to him for me.
Which one is him?
He said them.
Oh, them. Sorry, I couldn't hear you over the sound of your constant bitching.
I hope. No, I believe that you are nothing less than an Ozymandias of the Morphing Grid. That your belief of being this powerful entity will be left with nothing more than the sight of an empty and vast desert.
I think for this brief moment, there is that like sly Cheshire smile that just kind of drops a bit, and you see this sort of like unyielding, ceaseless age of like Schrodinger having been basically God for however long. Know that if there is a void at the end of time where you and your little coterie of bitches have succeeded, it is a universe so dark and far from the main timeline that nary a child could conceive of it. Now get the hell out of my house.
He immediately, like, after you finish your sentence, you see his body swarm in this like tarnished gold light before it pulls out through the doorway that it came through.
And your colors look like pee, as he fucking tips, I guess.
It is at this time that Dior and Gina, you guys appear within the Arcanium plexus. Schrodinger, you hear from Chopin. Again, the opposable thumbs would make it a lot easier to punch in the details for how to save your favorite.
Have you never used like a pen, voice commands? What kind of... This place, I swear, I liked it better at SPD headquarters.
Dior and Gina, you see that there is like a trail of blood along the floor from where Schrodinger is standing, leading into the power chamber.
Hey guys, you want some chicken?
I
Don't
walk
have-
forward and I just like grab Schrodinger by the shirt.
Am I allowed to teleport? I ain't letting them touch me.
You absolutely can.
Yeah, I'm just gonna fucking bamf and just be like a few feet away. This is very delicate merchandise. Do you have any idea how hard it is to get my own merch?
I'm heading right to Frankie.
I
Hi.
just got some information from the bad guys that you had stolen all of the morphers.
I steal a lot of
And-
things.
How is it now that people are becoming necronites? How is that?
How is it that they're becoming necronites? Well, you see, when a mommy necronite and a daddy necronite really, really hate each other, then honestly, I'm not
Schrodinger.
really sure.
I have two questions. One is much more important right now than the other one.
My God, you're finally asking them. I have so much knowledge. What would you like, my dear
Okay.
friend?
All right, first question. Frankie's condition, was it stable when you grabbed him? And the other one is why can't I detect the green morphing grid energy?
Sorry, I had a bit of chicken in my throat. Well, how stable can one be after being stabbed directly in the torso? Is there even enough? Looking real donut-y, but I think stable enough. I ask actual God. Stable enough?
He's wavering in and out of consciousness when you found him, and it was the blood loss that was going to lead to him no longer being here.
Inject him with some blood, and it should be all right. As for the second question, your boy not a ranger?
Okay, so
I
she
guess.
wasn't lying about that part.
Mm-hmm.
Just shut the
Yes,
fuck
Gina.
up, Schrodinger, and
I'm answering
Gina
questions. You
will
asked me to speak.
turn and walk into that other room and try to start getting some shit set up. I'm gonna try to do a magic to get like some of the life force back into Frankie, please.
Well, as the two of you specifically had been doing this no more than 2-3 hours ago for Bone, you are fully aware of all of the equations, all of the technical portions of the equipment that you're using in order to stabilize and help Frankie. Frankie,
What's up?
there's been a cold wind moving through you and not around you. The sounds of trees rustling, leaves breaking, and the lightest of rainfall. As your vision keeps moving from this world and the next, you find yourself within this hallowed forest. Each time your vision pulls back to there, you are in the same position you are in the other world, laying, looking up, breathing. The soft sounds of birds begin filling the air above you. The curling and like guttural cries of pain from a large cat-like animal you can feel resonate around you. A draconic breath pouring over the grass you are laying in, mimicking your own. The sounds of a car crash. Large and heavy footfalls. As you're being placed within the homeostasis tubes, you slip back into this other world. You see a falcon poised on a branch, looking down. You see this large white Bengal tiger wrapped around your legs. You see this small green wormling of a dragon standing off to the side. Small lizard dances up one of your arms. You can hear what sounds like the emergency lights clicking in time with your heartbeat. You know, your uncle never really wanted me to tell you about any of this. I mean, I get it. He's my brother, and there's secrets that you keep for family. I think it would have helped you to understand a lot more of what was happening. but I never really got a chance to tell you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't get to see your first fight. I'm sorry I didn't get to watch you become the man you are now. But we've been watching the whole time. You watch as the bird lands onto the tiger. The small dragon moves next to it. The lizard even moving back down your arm towards it. But being a ranger is a lot more than just looking out for your friends and trying to help them understand themselves better. It's becoming better for your friends. It's accepting everything that you are, all of it, and not shying away from it. Using it as a power even stronger than the Morphing Grid itself. I never wanted your dad to follow me in this and lose himself, and I didn't want this for you either. But I can't think of anybody better and more deserving of it. And it's in this moment that the voices start to take their full form. And you see your father sitting to your left, David Trueheart. And you see your uncle sitting to your right, Dr. Tommy Oliver.
Am I able to talk in this moment? Like,
Oh, yeah.
I just like blink a few times, seeing them form together, and like step back and look down at my chest. I'm like, what? Am I dead? Dad? Uncle? What's going on?
Your dad speaks. So my foster parents taught me that there is a place between our realms where spirits roam and communicate and watch over the rest of the world. And I learned that it is a small section of the Morphing Grid itself that allows us to continue to teach lessons and observe the people we care about from the other side. And your uncle responds, I haven't completely left, though I feel I did everything that I could have or needed to do in our world. But I couldn't leave you and JJ without some kind of eyes in the sky. You gotta want to do this, because you can come over here with us if you want, but it's up to you to decide.
It's down. It's about it. Really considers it, because it's been years. Um, let's back up. As much as I would love to stay here with the two of you, My friends do need me. And Mom still needs me. JJ needs me. And I just like step forward and give my dad a hug.
He hugs you back. You can feel your uncle hug the both of you. And then you feel a third hold all three of you. As you see Rowan and the place in between. I might not be able to help you be a ranger anymore, but I can still help you fight him. I'll give you what's left of me.
I'm sorry I wasn't enough to save you, Rowan.
I'm sorry I wasn't enough to save you, Frankie. You feel that small bit of green energy as Rowan's form completely dissipates, and that energy pulls into you. You will retain some, not all, of your Green Ranger capabilities, but you will not be able to morph. The only power weapon you currently will have access to is the Dragon Dagger, but in doing so will cost you 3 points of personal power to summon it at this point in time. As you feel pain start to resonate in the center of your chest, pulling all the way to your back, and burning. Things are like forcing themselves to reform. Bones are being put back into place. Skin, muscle, all of it. This white, hot flash of pain and energy and life is being forced into your body as your eyes pull away from the space in between, and you're within one of the homeostasis pods. You can see Gina has glyphs wrapping around the glass. You can see Dior's plugging away at all of the consoles around you, trying to make sure that everything is working absolutely correctly. You are conscious. This hurts like hell. And that's where we're going to take our break. We'll see you guys in about 10 to 15 minutes. Use the restroom, get something to drink, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to ArcaKnights, a Power Rangers actual play series here on the initiative order. And we are going to pick up with Peter and Marcia outside of the Hertz home, having a discussion with Yamaya.
I'll turn to Marcia and I'll say, what do you think?
I think that even before this point, we've known the Dread Hollows well enough to know that there are things that they're not telling us whenever they're speaking. So it's only fair, I suppose, that if we're going to broker an arrangement, we do it the way the law would typically prefer, which is first with a definition of terms. And what I do is I run back inside, open the overturned fridge in Peter's house.
Okay.
Take out 2 bottles of water. Come back out, open them, and I want to use spell crafting to make a small orb of water between the 3 of us.
Okay.
Like just kind of hovering in the center between the 3 of us.
Okay. No roll needed. This is just a base, like you're just gathering all the water to stay within one space at this point. So the water is formed between the 3 of you.
And I put my hand in the orb of water, as if it were open for a handshake, facing Yamaya.
And what exactly are the terms?
First, we need to qualify some things. If we're starting with an armistice, it stands to reason that whatever happened to Frankie while we were here stops happening as soon as we are done.
Agreed.
Also, when we say no participation, we mean none. We don't see or hear from you under any circumstances. Angel Grove is a demilitarized zone until we have resolved this issue.
I will add that Area 52 will also be a part of the demilitarized zone.
One of these fine days we're going to ask a lot of questions about that, but for these purposes, I think that's more than agreeable, and I turn to Peter silently.
Agreed.
I just have a question.
Now's the time to ask them.
If these Necronites came from you, why can't you control them?
The essence that was used to create them did not originate from the Dread Hollows themselves. It came from your side of the line.
So you stole things and then used them to create these
Yes.
beings. And if they are going to cause chaos and destruction, isn't that right up your alley? Why do you want them gone?
Because wanton destruction wasn't the goal, because they were supposed to come looking for us. Right?
The creation of the Necronites was simply to act as a distraction until we were able to gather either the Notaria or the ink from Excalibur. Possibly both. In order to ensure that the version of the world in which we desired would be the one that was written and would be absolute. You are now looking at wild You're looking at sharks in a kiddie pool filled with blood, with nothing but the people of Angel Grove, albeit Dread Hollows, ArcaKnights, Phantoms, all within the realm of attack.
Since you're in such a giving mood with the truth, I figure you're a better person to ask this question than any of your kin. Why Nikos?
Peter, you see a very familiar old man stand next to Marcia. As you hear Corellian go. That's probably the easiest answer. Much like Peter is the son of the red ArcaKnight, Nikos is the son of the gold ArcaKnight. But without a place to call his own. Isn't that right, sister? As he stares at Yamaya. Correct? It's all give and take.
Well, it sounds like this otherwise ordinary child didn't take anything from you. That he's lost his agency as a result of things that happened before he got here.
Yamaya moves a hand over her face. And you see a woman with very strikingly similar appearance to Nikos.
You kidnapped your own son and let an evil spirit possess him.
I put my son to sleep in a world that didn't understand him, and I woke him up in a world that would better accept him.
And you're using your own son as a bargaining token.
I'm using is beyond the word I would use for this scenario. I have both my son and my husband in the only way that I can. Together.
Forcing them.
I stare very intensely at Yamaya. And I say, I think it's remarkable that we have been going toe-to-toe on a weekly basis against enemies that keep proving themselves so deeply to be such social idiots that we don't need to be here. But that's a conversation for some time other than when we have to broker this deal. Suffice it to say that the Notaria and the Blade notwithstanding, all of your problems could have been solved ages ago better than this. You're only here because you haven't noticed that yet. The day that you want us to be your friends, I hope you can figure the answer to that question out. Till then, about Frankie.
I'm not involved with the situation.
Not involved, my ass. You don't talk to each other? You know that you sent someone to hurt him.
We are given instructions.
By
and
whom?
we carry them out.
Who is in charge?
The Chimera.
Did you have a contingency in the event that the ArcaKnights did not work out to your plans?
Destroying the relics that were going to be used to create them.
And the relics are missing, so you can't do that. But you do have the resources necessary to destroy those relics, yes?
The relics became the Necronites morphers. If at any point in time the creation of those morphers would have been less than successful, the relics would have been destroyed, so that power could not be accessed by the likes of you.
Do you have the means to destroy or otherwise render inert those relics in that event?
That is what the Chimera is doing right now. After seeing how you handled the first one.
So you're going over our heads. This deal doesn't mean anything if the Chimera is taking care of business for you.
I am here to investigate the possibility of the ink being within your family's home, or the Notaria, or the Excalibur, wherever you may have hidden it, whatever you may have done with it. That was my mission.
So there was no
Hesius's
deal.
mission was to seek out the only other member of your team who could interact with and use those relics if they so desired, as he had shown in the last fight against the first Necronite. The Chimera was going to gather the tools necessary to render the Necronites inert if an agreement couldn't be come to between all of us.
But you didn't even give us a chance. You attacked Frankie and went to the Arcanium Plexus while you were brokering this deal.
I was under the
impression, my ass. Marcia, nothing good is going to come of us making a deal with them. Because they went over our heads anyways.
I glance at Peter, but I'm still like facing Yamaya when I say this. Their intention was to always have as much cards in hand as possible in the event that we weren't going to say yes. But the rules are the same. If we do, Yamaya is bound, and so are her kin. Which is why the conditions include making sure that Frankie is in the condition that he was in when we met him. Because obviously we're going to need him to get the job done anyway. You have the resources to solve the Necronite problem. Give them to us and we will.
You are in possession of the resources necessary to stop the Necronites.
They were going to take them from us.
Is this information that we didn't already know?
Something that we found out before they walked into my house.
This is information we gathered when the Phantom handed your Green Ranger the red turbo key in the middle of Angel Grove and said this should stop them.
Less helpful, but more helpful than whatever you're doing right now.
Marcia, I leave it to you. If it was my way, I'd run her through right now.
Oh, believe me, the reason why I have one hand exposed is a reason that Yamaya knows very well. Proof that I can't kill you right now.
Aurelian speaks up again. She couldn't if she wanted to. She offered a deal. You're setting arrangements and details. She has to see it through. And I'm here as the eternal witness.
I glance over at Curly and then go, If it's all the same with you, I'd like 2 witnesses. And I reach for my phone with my free hand.
The Lady Queen Tamaret appears as the full spring queen of the Sealy Court of the Fae in her entirety, standing just over 12 feet tall in this glimmering pink and lavender and silver lined veiled dress, staring down at her sister.
Without turning to Tamret, I say, yeah, I'm angry too.
One of our siblings having their fun in humanity was exactly that, mischievous fun. Your destructive pathways will only lead to the court's absolute adjudication, Yamaya. Make your agreement. Yamaya puts her hand into the water.
Until we have destroyed all of the ArcaKnights, and 3 days after that, I don't want to see or hear from any of you until that's done.
And she grabs your hand, shakes
I grab
it,
and squeeze.
and the agreement is now in play. The 3 vehicles disappear out of the street. The 8 agents of Area 52 dispersed in purple and green mist, as once Yamaya's hand is released, she too disappears.
Well,
it's a little bit of time at least. I don't like it either, but she's bound by law.
yeah. I just
She
hope the others
has
are as well.
no choice, as you can hear all of the windows of every house on this block vibrating from the Lady Queen Tamaret's voice.
But are the other Dread Hollows also bound to this deal?
In absolute.
All right, that's something. I guess we should get back and see how Frankie's doing.
Yeah, because we're gonna need him.
Yep.
The Lady Queen Tamaret moves her hand over the top of your house, Peter, and you see this like luster dust almost fall over it. And you can see this shell of energy move over the top. They will never step foot within your home again.
Thank you. Thank you. And Peter just kind of relaxes and dismisses Caliburn.
I take my phone and I smack Corellia on the top of the head with it.
Just immediately like sucked right back into the bone.
We should see the others then.
Yeah, let's head back to the Arcanium Plexus.
As you
Yep.
teleport back. Marcia and Peter appearing within the Arcanium Plexus, you see Schrodinger there. Schrodinger, did you clean yourself off at all? Like anything after you picked Frankie up and brought him here?
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm covered in blood. Can I use my Morphing Grid God powers to like get a new set of clothes, or is that like a physical thing I have to do?
That would be a physical thing you'd have
Dang
to do.
it.
That's why I'm asking. Because up until this point, there hasn't been an acknowledgement of it.
I'm gonna say that I probably changed, got some food, came back.
Okay.
They seem to have that on lock. I did I did my part.
So Marcia and Peter, as you appear within the Arcanium Plexus, you see Schrodinger there.
Howdy.
How's Frankie?
You alive? Kind of looks a little different, a little glowy, but pretty good.
Is he gonna make it?
Well, better than most.
A little birdie told us something very interesting. Schrodinger?
Is that your guys' version of Twitter?
Someone who already doesn't like us was honest enough to let us know you stole from the Dread Hollows?
And you turned my dad into a necronite.
That does check out. Does sound like something I'd do.
You are way too flippant about what is actually life or death about these people. Can you put the food down and just like talk to us for a minute?
I'm talking to you. Am I not allowed to be hungry?
Gina, I think, hears the conversation going on out here now and just walks out of the room where we were taking care of Frankie. And she just walks out and she just says, who else? Who else did you get? Because obviously you got Bone, who's important to me. You got Peter's dad. You got
If you did something to my mom, I'm gonna kill you.
You got the professor who is like Frankie's legal guardian, essentially. Who else? Who else?
Wait, the professor was Frankie's legal guardian? Now I feel bad. Who else did I get? God.
The other two you got were Barrett, that was Marcia's bodyguard since she was a kid.
Nanny. Yeah.
And you
And then
got
it was
Valsa,
yeah, there it is.
the blue Aquatarian Arcanite who gave up her power.
Girlfriend.
Yours girlfriend.
Did I say
Schrodinger,
that?
do you actually tell us that?
I feel like after round 3, like, you can see Schrodinger kind of like think real hard about who else he might have gotten. But he didn't say anything. He's just kind of waiting for you to say your piece. He does put the bowl down and then takes out a water bottle.
Gina asked a question. She was
Oh,
waiting.
you did ask a
for
question.
a
I'm so
reply.
sorry. I didn't catch that last bit. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
I said, who else? Who else did you get with your machinations?
Well, machinations makes it sound a lot more sinister than it actually is. I'm doing y'all a favor personally, but one was the water alien, the kind that like they dehydrate real quick. Terrible ranger team. I will be honest. Between Mighty Morphin and Zeo, nah, not about it. The other one was, I'm sorry, what is Barrett? Garrett? Something like that?
Barrett.
Ferret? The bodyguard?
I'm going to physically throw the Cerberus axe from where I am into where they are standing.
Okay.
You're gonna need that.
Schrodinger.
Mm.
I have tried to learn my lesson.
Mhm.
I've tried to be a better ranger, but I am trying really. The Dread Hollows came to us and asked for your head. They asked us to turn you in, and myself, one who should be wanting to kill you right now, which I do, said no because he's a ranger. He's with us, and rangers are supposed to do the right thing. So for a second, for a moment, just a brief moment, drop the sarcastic fucking asshole act and tell me 4 good reasons why you turned our friends and loved ones into monsters before I shatter the grid and eliminate you from existence in this moment.
He lets you sort of sit with your anger for a bit, and similar to earlier, not smiling, just looks so old and so tired as kind of shakes it out, gets another sip of water. You need 4 reasons, or will 1 do you good?
Something serious for once. No
Something
jokes,
concrete.
no sarcasm, no flippant, metaphorical bullshit. Give us a straight up answer why you're doing this to us when you should be here to help us.
I am not doing anything to you. I am doing things for you. Do you have any idea how many of yous I've seen over infinity? How many times I've watched Gina lose her hands? Watched you turn evil. I have seen Frankie do a couple of weird things, but I'm not going to mention them off the top of my head out of respect for the almost dead. I care deeply about the balance of good and evil, about the Morphing Grid, because it's necessary, it's important. Also because I kind of need it to live, but to put things as plainly and succinctly and as less Schrodinger as I can possibly be, I am doing this so that you don't accidentally destroy the entire city in your Power Ranger fight. This plan of action is what I'm going to call it. This super cool, definitely smart time that I am having is the only way to make sure that you do not take down the whole world while trying to save it.
Marcia,
Yes, Marcia.
raises her hand as if she's actually trying to get the teacher's attention in high school.
I respect that. What's up? You do notice that Schrodinger is standing like a tiny bit taller.
In the last 45 minutes of literally brokering a deal with Yamaya to ensure that you didn't get dismembered in the middle of the street, I learned something that I think is hilarious and also morbidly silly.
We do love morbidly silly.
The first ArcaKnights, if we can call the Dread Hollows that, because they don't act like they've ever been ArcaKnights, but the first ArcaKnights are dumb.
Are dumb. So
They've very obviously put themselves in some position that we're going to learn about at some point, I'm sure, where otherwise very healthy personal feelings that they would struggle with in the journey of being Power Rangers have gotten them so in over their own heads that they are who they are now, trying to solve those problems. There's only a certain kind of person who decides, I'm fine with turning my eternal son into a board game piece in order to win more power. And that's someone who's been broken by the goal to gain more power. I don't give a damn about that. I don't give a damn about that. The day I don't get to be a Power Ranger anymore, I'll probably be the happiest person that you've ever met. And I'm pretty happy. You've seen my apartment.
Have I seen your apartment?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were there.
This is a lovely place.
All right.
Yeah, good feng shui.
And I'd give up that. There is a lot of shit that I'd give up. Because being safe is more important than having all of it. The only reason I'm still a Power Ranger in the first place is because I know what it's like to be deathly afraid. And that's more the most meaningful feeling that I've ever had in my life. More so than having more money than I can do anything with. And I've been in rooms with piles of money that I couldn't see over the wall of. I don't care about this. I care about what it does. I care about how it helps people. I want to do more of that for as long as I can, precisely because they've shown us that there is a point in time when that stops happening. And everything that you've just described, just now, is the story of us becoming them. So I want to believe that you have our best intentions at heart. But I'd like to clarify something for you. That being true is not the same as earning our trust. So I'd like you to do that too. Because I want to get this work done as well.
Schrodinger, would you like to show them the truth? If not, say it, show it to them.
Sure.
Okay. As Marcia finishes her statement, you draw the looking glass out, this spyglass, and set it on the spellcrafting table of the Arcanium plexus. And as you do, it wobbles for a second, spins, and then stands upright. A light illuminating from underneath it out through the lens begins showing this fractalized web of universes and timelines and people and rangers and dinosaurs and robots of the future and time traveling and planets far beyond the reaches of mankind currently. There's a point that is shown. It looks to be about 3 years from this current day and age. You see a young version of what appears to be Schrodinger moving through a destroyed and wasted away Angel Grove. A formative palace of the Arcanium plexus breaking through the remains of UCAG as dragon-like Draugr scour the streets. One of them, seeing Schrodinger, rushes him, goes to attack him, and in that briefest moment, Marcia, you appear out of one of the windows with the Feywind bow, taking fire on this draconic-like Draugr, rushing down, grabbing this young version of Schrodinger and taking him away to safety, showing him everything. Somebody else needs to know this knowledge. Somebody else needs to be aware of what went wrong here, of what happened, of how I can save my friend if I could go back, how I could stop these things from happening. And then you see the fractaled timeline. The ArcaKnights bracelets created, originally put onto 5 Draugr, but the energy was too powerful for the Draugur's bodies to maintain. So it eventually decayed and broke away, leaving the Morphers. The Dread Hollows then moving through the people of Angel Grove, finding all of the people most important to the ArcaKnights, attacking them, beating them, hurting them, until they begged for some kind of mercy, and then the bracelets were placed onto their wrists. As the ArcaKnights attacked the Necronites, not knowing who now was infused with that power, and watched all of the people that they cared deeply about be destroyed by their own hands, which led to Peter's motion down the darker path. And it's in that time that you see the matron of the Morphing Grid appear after Marcia had taught a small child the history of the ArcaKnights and take him into her arms to become the variable to stop this from happening. Send him to learn from the mistakes and failures and falls and drops of all previous Ranger teams until the time was right, the moment that Marcia had dictated to that small child of when things started going left, to appear and not just save all of you, but save the entire universe. And that is what you were shown.
Great PowerPoint presentation.
And you couldn't tell me. You know what? I would want that way as well.
Your orders.
That's something I would say, isn't it? God damn it.
You're carrying a lot of weight. Do you need to like talk stuff out?
I am so tired. All the time. There you go.
How long have you been doing this?
Time is kind of relative when it all exists at the same moment. For a while.
I stop for a minute and I like. You can see my eyes darting as I'm trying to find a thought in my brain, and then I go, how many versions of us have you seen?
Do you want exact numbers?
Is it more than 3 figures?
Oh, it's up there. And in every single one of those timelines, in every possible version of the 5 of you, you persist in continuing to be my heroes. So, did you guys want food after this, or?
All of us could do with a lot more than food, but I'm gonna ask you 2 more questions.
Ask away, boss.
Oh God.
Schrodinger, you do have that book that was left.
Yeah, I know. I'm just waiting for them to say their piece. Did you have a question?
I do.
Oh.
Is there a universe in which we save Nikos?
God?
This one. The Doctor
This
Strange.
this one.
Okay. So my second
That's fair.
question then is, can you help us do what we need to do without being an asshole? Or did I ask you to be an asshole as well?
Oddly enough, Peter asked me that in a different dimension, so...
Wasn't
I turn to Peter and scowl.
I'm just kind of taking in the fact that I burned the world. So,
Take your time. It usually takes about
That's
20,
not
30 minutes.
That's not you.
it was
It's a
almost
version
me.
of you, a version of you, a version of us that cared about the things that we care about now in ways that were warped by this. But Schrodinger, I imagine you're here to help us know better.
Yeah.
And I trust that we do.
I also
So we
have a
can.
question.
Can. Yes, Gina.
Do you need a hug?
Do I need a hug?
Yeah.
I just go in for one.
I think that Schrodinger is very stiff. You can feel the tension in their like entire body, despite them seeming kind of liquidy as they move around.
So a cat.
Yeah, but there's just that immediate like tense.
Thank God, was I pulled into this too?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you a hug too.
As much as I enjoy this, I'm gonna go check on Frankie.
He's stable.
Oh yeah, Frankie.
Yeah. As much as this is
Backstory
great,
hours over. You got work to do.
I'm gonna go check on Frankie quick before I do something else.
As
Is
you
he
go to-
alive?
as you go to check on Frankie,
He actually died while we were having that
you
conversation.
can see you can see this. The skin looks translucent only because it's so new. Over the hole through the middle portion of the abdomen. But Frankie is alive. He's stable. You can see he's conscious, but you can also see there's a part of him that's not all here right now.
I think Peter
Frankie's
will
also like definitely cried heavily in that state.
Peter will just kind of like look over the tube and put a hand on it and be like, I know you looks like you're going through some stuff right now, and I don't know how long a hole in your chest will take to heal, and I know you don't have ranger powers at the present moment in time, but like, we need you, buddy. I need you. So whatever you got to do in there, if you could hurry it up, that'd be great. We need you, buddy.
You hear that echoing. It's like every sentence is being said 5 times before the next sentence begins and then carries again.
Gina walks up to the glass and just like puts her hand on it. We'll get your spectrum power back if we can. Sorry that this happened to you. And then she turns to the other pod and sees Bone sleeping, and she's just like, now what do I do about you?
Damien's pod says that he still has roughly about 3 hours until he's 100% clean and clear and good.
Okay.
Clear and under control.
At this point, is it just like, is the machine still doing work to help him be good?
Yeah, it's rehydrating, introducing higher percentage oxygen into the air to help reoxygenate his blood and everything like that. He was mostly dehydrated and burned, but everything has been taken care of.
Sick. All right, cool.
I turn back to Schrodinger and go, well, we're presently down 1 ranger. We still have 4 Necronites to clean up.
Did you want me to do something about that, or do you want me to bring the ancient ones in? Maybe give you.
You
give a
would be
lesson
nice.
there?
Ancient ones.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm acting on the assumption that if I trusted you, then in the future, question mark, that I can trust you now.
Time is relative, but sure.
We're presently kind of on the clock. We have an armistice with the Dread Hollows until we've solved this Necronite problem, which I imagine was your goal the whole time. So if we could kill both of those birds, it would be nice.
I'm sorry, I'm the one who has to do it?
No,
No.
we will do it.
But again, I trust you. Or trying to.
I mean, I gave you all I gave you my whole backstory. If
you
that ain't enough, I don't know what to tell you.
Do you know where my mom is?
Do I know where your mom is? Yeah.
Where is she?
The past.
The first red Necronite. She's in the past.
The first Necronite?
Or she's ArcaKnight.
She was the first ArcaKnight. Lovely person.
Is she still alive?
In the past, yeah. Like I said, time is relative.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Is there something we can do about that?
I just told you I could bring him
I
in.
can.
That book.
Yeah.
Ways.
What book?
So
Schrodinger has a small book that was left by the Chimera.
This one probably.
May I see it?
Yeah,
All
sure.
right.
I stole enough stuff from you already.
What is this book?
There is a small copper wire that is holding it closed, like twisted,
Yeah.
As you untwist it, you watch the leather, the pages, and even the red veiled bookmarker wrap around that copper, and it becomes a key.
Oh, you guys got a lot of locked
What-
doors in here. Might want to
What
consider
is
doing digital.
what is this key to?
Secret doorway?
Is this a key? I already opened one secret door. Is there another secret door here that I know about?
Do I know?
Schrodinger knows there's about 4 or 5 other
I know
ones
that
in
there
here.
are 4 or 5 other ones in here. You guys really do not look around.
Okay. My mom's behind that door.
God.
Okay, I can talk to her. We
So,
can.
yeah, something's behind. There is something behind the door that key goes to that will lead either the ancient ArcaKnights here or you to the ancient ArcaKnights in the past.
That's a field trip, I think, for another day. We've got Necronites to deal with.
Speaking of which,
I'm gonna
I
put it on
hate
my
to
necklace
bring-
with the other key.
Got a lot of keys.
Speaking of which, I hate to bring up a harsh truth, but we're gonna have to prioritize. These Necronites are powerful. We're gonna have to take them down one at a time, and we need to do it intelligently. And I know this is hard because these are all people that everyone is close to.
I mean, I'll shoot.
But prioritizing, I think we got to go for the professor first. That way we can get that font of information back on our side.
I'm going.
Especially since that font of information being our enemy is probably a bad thing.
I'm
Exactly.
going to.
And- Yes. Oops, sorry.
I'm going to take a hold of the axe that I'd thrown, pull it up, and just place onto the shoulder and just slowly walk to Schrodinger.
Dior, we're not
Yes.
killing anybody.
I literally just shared my backstory. You're really gonna knock me out now.
I thought you were the absolute most chaotic thing I've ever met.
Still am.
You made one of the most logical decisions I could possibly imagine.
That being.
We have a goal and a reason to use our powers for good for once, as opposed to the only ways we know how.
Putting us on the clock was better than trying to talk us through it in hindsight. Dior is correct. It sucks, and you should have talked to us, but
However, the one person that understood me, how I function, is now a monster. And that was something you did, logical as it may be. So, as much as you can pretend, I think it's adorable that somehow I'm more human than you are.
Stopped being human centuries ago.
And I'm teleporting out.
Oh. So that's what that feels like.
Okay. All right. Schrodinger,
Yes, sir.
if you wouldn't mind assisting us with bringing them down, you said, or we were told that the keys to the turbomorphers are what's going to get them to stop being that, right?
The
Not
Was it the turbo
really.
keys?
the
Is it-
things
that one
used by
specifically.
those different ranger forms, so like the white ranger power coin, the green ranger power coin, the red Zeo crystal, the black dino gem, each one of those would turn off the different necronites.
So we need to reunite them with these items. Do we need to
Pretty
beat
much.
them down like we beat down Gina's boyfriend?
No, that one was more for fun, but I don't think you do. You just gotta get in there, just
Okay.
give it a nice little knock on the head or whatever. So is that a
can
is
we
that a
still
term you guys...
find any of those?
They're all here within the power chamber, you see Chofan like now come back into the Arcanium plexus after carrying Frankie into the power chamber. She kind of, leaps up onto Peter's shoulder.
All right. Well, which one's the closest?
Well, first thing is first. What is your willpower?
14.
14.
I also do have a thing I want to do, but I think I'm going to message it to you later, Will.
Okay.
It's not a secret. It's just to save time.
26 definitely beats your willpower.
What is happening to me?
You die.
I'm trying to be a good guy, trying to be the leader.
You
for
are
the love of God.
You are being good guy. You are being leader. This will make a lot of sense here.
Boy.
You look into Chofan's eyes, and this large grin moves up his face.
That's horrifying.
As you smile back at Chofan. Should probably try that book over there. As you take the key from around your neck.
Which one?
Walk over to that book, put the key into it, and open a second doorway. Inscribed on that wall is a large spell circle. I think you're going to need backup, and I don't think Schrodinger wants to admit that they can't really do the whole thing on their own. And how about a quick pop in to see Mom? As you place your hand on the spell circle.
Oh, beans. Bye, guys.
Four of the ancient ArcaKnights appear within the Arcanium plexus. Full armor, look nothing like Power Rangers or any of the variations or forms of Power Rangers any of you have seen before. They look like legitimate knights with large spell books under each arm, each with different weapons, the crest of their familiars placed over the entire breastplate. Chofan jumps off of your shoulder and says, "Go ahead, pop in, say hi." As you step through a doorway of time.
Bye,
and
Peter.
See your mother in the middle of combat with the Chimera and the first Draugr. In a heavily wooded area, you see Flamel and Philo at the far back of this battlefield. Flamel yelling out, "I have no idea where the other ArcaKnights have gone. Magic that's not mine has taken them, but we can stand and we can take this fight."
You gonna make me save my mom. Turn the page, quick morph. I'm just gonna morph and run to my mom as fast as I could.
And that is where we were going to end for tonight. Unfortunately, Alec will not be with us on the 25th when we have our next session. So there will be a hidden episode that people will need to get cliff notes on that me and Alec will have together. And we will see all the rest of you on the 25th. We'll go around the group, have everybody tell us who you are, where they can find you on the internet, because one of our Rangers has to go and adult. So we will start with Hama. You're muted.
Hello, I am Hamasamakun on all social media platforms. I played Schrodinger, everybody's favorite cat boy. Now with extra backstory just for you.
Trauma. Ding.
Alec.
Hello. I have been Alec the Bard, Peter the Red Ranger, who's now back in time. Time Force was my favorite one anyway, so.
Brandon.
Hello, it has been me, Brandon O'Brien, poet, writer, and game designer from Trinidad and Tobago, pronouns he, him, or they, them. You can find me almost everywhere on the internet at The Rising Tides. I have a website called brandonobrien.xyz, which is also my newsletter. I'm going to be at Big Bad Con, so if you want to hear me talk about some of the things that I'm working on, including my Kamen Rider RPG Hero Revolution, the playtest of which is already full, so if you want to hear anything more about it, you're going to have to just meet me in the hallway. But please, if you're going to be at Big Bad Con, please feel free to annoy me and I will talk to you about the thing.
We'll also be at Big Bad Con. Teach me this game.
I will also be there.
Javante.
Howdy, y'all. I'm Javante, your resident TTRPG goblin. I played Dior, the Black Arcanite Ranger. Things that I'm doing. You can catch me next Wednesday, where I am still running Dante's Inferno, a guide through hell. Other things that you can catch me on social media when I'm not raging at people at my job. Sun and Moon, which is a D&D module that I'm completely making from scratch. That's based around Africa's culture, myths, and folklore. In a couple days, when I have it fully fleshed out, I'll actually be revealing one of the subclasses, which is the Horn and Spear, a subclass based around the Zulu Impi warriors. Which I'm very, very excited to show off.
It's going to be amazing. Krimsin.
You muted.
Hey y'all, I've been Krimsin, and again, that is Krimsin, because I'm not me without a little bit of sin. My pronouns are they, them, she, and they, and today I was playing Gina, the Yellow Ranger. You can find me over on twitch.tv/Casper to ND Ghost at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time next Monday. You can catch me back here the following Monday after that. And you can follow me on Twitter at sin_gal. You can follow me on Instagram at crimson_galaxy_RPG. And I'll have some more games for you soon. I'm actually discussing a few right now. But that's all I got.
Our wonderful tech person of the evening, Pluto.
Everyone, I'm Pluto, non-binary bisexual streamer and game master on a quest to run every game in the known universe. The things I got going on right now is that I have 2 open calls that I just posted today for games that'll start in January. One for my own Power Rangers series, Power Rangers Fairy Arcana, and then another one for a Hades video game inspired horror campaign using Monster of the Week. So if you're interested in playing in either of those, go ahead and apply. They'll be up until November 1st, and then we'll run a couple session zeros before we start. So go apply if those sound like something you want to play in. And you can find them on my socials at Pluto Cleric everywhere.
And I have been your Gridmaster, Arc, or Arc-like Court. You can find me all over the internet at Gridmaster, Arc, or Arc-like Court. We just officially casted my next Power Rangers series, Power Rangers Storm Strike. We will be announcing that cast as well as the cast for the first one-shot of Magi Veil of Mana, the TTRPG that I have been working on and creating over the course of the last year. So look out for all of those wonderful promotions and cast reveals and everything. But above everything else, thank you so much to my team of Rangers here tonight and the wonderful story that we told. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of this. We will see you guys again on the 25th, albeit minus our Red Ranger. But thank you all for being here. And remember that if it's Monday, it's morphin' time.
No, thank you for being here. You're amazing.